probably the oldest living photographer in Las Vegas. And I opened up, I did everything, bar mitzvahs, whatever. Mostly model portfolios for the first year or so. And I quickly found my niche in commercial photography, working mostly in the hospitality industry, doing, which was a great thing to do because I just wanted to take pictures, it was my passion. And doing stuff on hotels, I was doing food, I was doing executive work with glamour, show shots, about anything you can think of. But I quickly found my niche doing that. And as I've gotten older, I kind of gravitated towards things that don't move and don't talk. My patience has gotten much less. But I do these, my passion really is photography. I'm running this thing to work. Like all these shots you see here, I do actually in my kitchen. When I'm not shooting on assignment, I really like to just create something. Most of what I do is kind of restricted by art directors and clients and so forth. So when I get a chance to shoot stuff on my own, it's just a good creative outlet. So I go in the grocery store, I go, ooh, I take a picture of that. And take it home, but before I eat it. You'll see a lot of bread shots in here, and that's because I like to eat bread, and it's very photogenic. But as I say, I shoot most of the stuff right in my house, and and it's very simple. It's all done with natural light, just with window light coming in. Now, sorry about that. That being said, you want to get that? My favorite, that's all right. My favorite light is daylight. And like this is all shot with daylight coming through just through the kitchen window. But the reality is, when I go on assignment for an actual job, this is usually what I end up doing. I'm usually in the kitchen. This was shot in a bakery's office. And I can't even move because behind me is a rack with about 50 different pastries on it for me to photograph. This is kind of typical what I do. So occasionally, I do come to a place where I have a daylight, and this is a restaurant in Beverly Hills. I travel quite a bit, and they actually had daylight, and I thought, ooh, this is great, because most of the restaurants in Vegas don't have any daylight coming in. So I was fortunate last year, they called me over to Rio to come shoot some shakes. That's what they call it, shake. I call it a meal. And I think I gained 5 pounds just photographing. But I walked in and I said to the chef, so where are we going to shoot? He says, I really like daylight shots. I almost kissed the guy. I thought, this is great. So I went in this room. You can't see it very well, but I take backgrounds with me when I go to these places. I do a lot of do-it-yourself background. If you go on, I have a YouTube channel, and on that I have one video on it, just doing on backgrounds. But like I knew what this was for the All-American Bar Grill in Rio, and I knew that they had these dark woods, so that's what I took with me. But what I've learned to do, rather than haul everything, is I just made contact sheets of different backgrounds, and I sent it to the client and so forth, and say, this is what I have. What would be look good for your product? And they wrote, how about it? I do this because my assistant got tired of hauling all this crap all over the place. And particularly when we fly across country and we're hauling all this wood. But I have this is just a couple of sheets. I have probably 30 different backgrounds I use. So we're at the Rio and shooting in this big restaurant, and my son's my assistant, and he gets bored when I do food because there's not much for him to do other than unload me and pack me back up. Oops, I'm going to show you this. So he did a little iPhone video while I was shooting. I always shoot tethered. My computer just makes things much simpler. That's my food stylist over there, Amy, checking her emails, I'm sure. But just to show you this, the problem is I'm in this large room, and the problem is when you're in a large room like that, even though the daylight's coming in, it doesn't fall off. It just kind of envelops the whole thing. So I'll take a black, what I did, I got a 20 by 30 piece of black foam core. I just make a big V out of it, and it works really good because it'll stand by itself. And so that will darken this side so you have some light fall off. But when I did that, the side of this chicken, this is for hash house or something like that. So I put this, these little makeup mirrors are really great because they have stands on them. And I can always check my makeup too when I'm there. But I stand them up just to take a little bit of light back in the side of that bird. Oops, one more. So this is what I was doing. I was trying to kick some light into there. That's a heck of a meal. You imagine that's a whole half a chicken. Who can eat that? Not me anymore. Anyway, so then I was in Boston, and another place where we had really good window light. And they set me up right on the waterfront, so it was really a cool place to shoot. But I said, what are you going to shoot in Boston? We're playing Chowder, right? And then we did these. This was the background. I tell you one thing about these backgrounds I do, like the pieces of wood, you flip over, it's another background. So I do one look on one side of the wood and I flip it over, so I have two backgrounds every time I take it. Now I shot, the whole thing in doing this kind of work is finding good light, I'm fortunate, my house, the back of my house faces north. So I have this good north light coming in, and this is just kind of a breakfast snook off in my kitchen. And the nice thing about north light is it's consistent all day, so it doesn't really change. You can set up and you don't have to change the light. Because the thing when you're shooting with artificial light, you move the light around to light your product the way it looks best. But if you're working with natural light, you have to kind of move the product around to get the best look on it. And if you have the north light, it stays the same all day, so it really looks good. Now, sometimes you don't have that. Sometimes you have south, east, or west light. This is my front door, and the light that's facing dead east, south, and the light coming through it is pretty strong. But I have this kind of double glass and stuff in there, so it diffuses a little bit, but I very rarely would shoot there. But if I do, I can put like a scrim up to soften the light. This is just a scrim out of a 5-in-1 reflector. And that'll soften the light enough that you have to use it. So I did this just for demonstration purposes, where I set this over grab up. This is the direct window light coming through there. It's kind of, contrasty. If I put the scrim up, it'll soften a little bit, so it's a little bit different. A little diffused down. I did open both of those up in Adobe Camera Raw and open up the shadows, so they look a little bit better than right out of the camera. So I'll show you this is right out of the camera. You can see how contrasty that is. This is diffused with no edit to it. So anyhow, very seldom I shoot with direct sunlight. But this watermelon kind of screened for it. It just makes it look fresh. You get those spectral highlights on it. So this was a shot out in my backyard with direct sunlight. Very seldom do I ever do that, though. You can see how I set it up, and this was very early in the morning. So the light is kind of low. Now, if you're shooting outside, I had to give a demonstration to influencers, which I used to call them bloggers, influencers. They go on Instagram, and these guys have like 15,000, 20,000 followers. I was at that Serlatov, I think how they pronounce it. The little store, I think, instead of doing a demonstration for them. And I told them, I said, you guys do some nice work, but your light is horrible. Why take it outside and shoot it in the shade? Well, if you take it out and shoot it in the shade, there's no fall off of light. And most of you guys I know a lot of you do landscape, and when you shoot early in the morning, late in the afternoon, because you got the cross light, it picks up your texture. It's the same thing with food photography. You want a lot of light coming in to define your subject, because you're shooting three-dimensional objects and putting them on a two-dimensional plane. So you have to define your subject with light. Oops, wrong button. So you can see how flat that is. It's just boring. There's just no fall off in the light. And I can change that a little bit by putting my black card up. You can see it makes it a little better, but it's not, still not what I would want to shoot. But if you do what you have to do, it looks better than that by itself. Anyhow, so I go back to my area where I like to shoot, and this is called the marriage saver. Because I used to put the wood on top of my table, and my wife's like 5'2", 110 pounds, and I'm scared to death of her. She's a little Italian thing, and she just, what are you doing? So anyway, so I put this on to save the marriage, and what you have to, the whole thing in photography is light, is direction of light. You're trying to shape, your product with the shadows and highlights in order to define the subject. So a cross lighting and backlighting is what really works great for food photography. So I just did this to demonstrate. So I got this loaf of bread. I love bread. I go into Smith's and see that, that artisan bread, and I'm like, so I'll come home with 4 loaves. My wife said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "I think I'll take a picture." She humors me. Anyway, so I moved the light around 45 degrees. You can see how it started to define the subject more. Now you get the 180 here. This is a real shiny loaf of bread, so it has, you get. I don't particularly like that much glare on my food when I shoot it, but just to show you how it works. So I got a different loaf that had a little more texture to it. It's the same thing. You can see how moving the light source around. I'm not moving the light source around. I'm actually moving around with the product to see how it defines it. So this is kind of what I wanted to do. Now, as I say, I do all this in my kitchen, but this is how I do it. I get down and look at it and see how the light's hitting the subject. And that's the nice thing about my marriage saver cloth there. It has felt on the other side, so it slides really easily. But I'll move it around to see how it's shaping the product. Everything's different. There's no set rule. But then I have these. I'm lucky because my wife put these shutters in. I yelled at the time because they were kind of expensive, but enabled me. I can control the lights as it comes through by which louvers I have open. Now, if you don't have that, then you can always you just put cards up to shape it. But I'll just keep moving it around until it gets where I want it. So this is what I wanted to do. So I tried to find old window frames here in Vegas, and they don't exist. If anything old here, they destroy and recreate something new. Up in northern Nevada, you can probably find these in antique stores and stuff. I've seen a couple here, but they wanted like an arm and a leg for it, so I just had some old wood in the garage, and I kind of put this together. If you got real close to it, you can see that it was not a real one, but I throw it out of focus so I can get away with it. So they say I shoot tethered all the time. It's just much easier, and I use it on live view, so I can move things around and look right in the computer and see what I'm doing. So this is kind of the shot I wanted. Now I start with that, and I change things around. I always cut into it because I love the texture of the bread. And that knife, you'll see that knife in a lot of my pictures. I grew up with that knife. That was my mom's knife. It's probably 80 years old, and it's nice and worn. But when she passed away, that's the one thing. My sisters are fighting over the silverware and stuff. I said, "Oh, that knife." It's something they could throw up. But every time I touch that, I can feel it, which is really great. Another thing here, like this cutting board, I get a lot of my prompts off of eBay and Etsy. It's kind of, if you look at a lot of food photography, this kind of old rustic stuff is very, very popular. So this peach shot, this peach crate I got off of eBay. I was looking for an old wood boxes, and I saw that, so that's cool. Maybe get that, and then once I got the peach box, I had to buy some peaches. So I went to Costco, got a dozen peaches, and now you can see the problem here is a dozen peaches doesn't fill the box. So you know, I have this. These are sitting on top of another wood box inside there, and I have one propped up here. And let's say you can see I'm tethered again. Now what I did was since the camera's on a tripod, I just kept moving these peaches around, and oops. There you go. I moved these peaches around and photographed them in different spots, and then composited them on Photoshop, and it's real quick layer matte, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden now I have a full crate of peaches. So this is the shot I got. You know, it's the view out that window ain't so good. It kind of gives it away. So this thing from So I have the shot I did in Italy. Interesting enough, the shot of Italy was shot with a 5D Mark IV, and I always used my Sony A7R II for my food and my architectural work. You can see the difference in size of the images. They're both overkill. I mean, they keep making these things bigger and bigger, but it's kind of overkill. But, I like the A7R II mainly because they put an articulating monitor in the back. And I don't know why in the hell Canon didn't put it on their 5D Mark IV. Because you get the camera up this high, and you have to get a ladder to get up and look at your monitor. Where if I had an articulating screen, I could look down and see it. I have no idea why they left that on. But anyway, so I paste this shot up on over the peach shot, and I change the position, put a layer mask in, and then I go in and I'll select out the window. You have to feather your selection out so it you don't have a sharp line there. And go through until I have the whole thing done. Then I'll go in and I'll use the transform tool to reposition the window picture. Then go in and put a Gaussian blur on it, and then I have my complete shot. And you would never know that was in my kitchen. Whenever I do these shots, though, I always do a variation of it. It's just kind of fun. I mean, I sell a few of these, but I don't even try and sell them. It's just kind of, I like doing it. It's just kind of something I enjoy doing. So, now this one, the window rays, I just did that in Photoshop. I just created that in Photoshop. And my mom's not in there to give her credit. And here's a problem you can run into too. If you're shooting inside, like I'll be working over there, and all of a sudden my wife will come in and turn the kitchen lights on. So now I've got 6,000 Kelvin here and 3,000 Kelvin here, and it doesn't work. So I can show you the dip. See, I don't know if you can see it this good here, but you can see it's very warm on the right. As I turn the light off, it really goes dark. So I use, as I said, it's so simple. I use the daylight coming through, and then I do use reflectors as light modifiers. Now, this is the expensive equipment. Like, I take this on shoots with me too, and they look like, oh, what's this guy doing? He's got aluminum foil wrapped on paper, you know. So, like this, I use these makeup mirrors all the time. But this foam core, you can go to Lost Depot and get that white foam core cut at 20 by 30s, I think usually. And I just cut it down the middle, put some gaffer tape on it, and they stand up. These beads work really nice. And then I've taken this cardboard and just crumpled aluminum foil up, put it on there, and I have those in beads also. And then I have like smaller ones. If I just want to reflect into a certain part, say a piece of meat or something, I can use it that way. So this is kind of a video here. You can see when I think it is. Yeah, you can see when I bring that white foam core in, see how much it opens up the shadow side of that loaf of bread. And I'll vary this. Okay, so when I'm doing this, I love having options when I'm done when I go into editing. So I will shoot with the reflector here, and I'll move it back, and I'll do the variations of it, because since we're in the digital age, we don't have to worry about how many shots we take anymore. We just keep firing away from it. And then you can see the last one, I bring a black reflector in too, and that'll darken if I want to really enhance it. So, frequently when we'll do these, we shoot over the top, and that's, if you look in food magazines, it's very popular. I particularly don't, it's not my favorite way to shoot. That's one thing I like. I have this Manfrotto tripod that has an arm that comes up and it'll cantilever over. So it makes it really easy to do that sort of stuff. Now, I normally shoot with a 100 millimeter f2.8 macro lens on my Canon or my Sony. I use a Megabones adapter for my Sony, and I use all my Canon lenses. But when I do this over the top, I switch to a 2470 because I could put it down on the floor, but then I got to bend down and get it. I can bend down a little bit, but I don't come up a little bit. So I try and make my life as easy as I can. The older I get, I try and simplify things. Anyway, so I do this quite frequently. We have to shoot over the top, and I will. That's kind of this. Hard to see this. It looks really good on my monitor because it's really clear. But you can see that it's kind of dark on the right side, but when I bring a reflector in like this, it kind of opens it up. And then if I really want to kick it up, I can bring this. I probably need to make a new one because that's looking pretty shabby. But you can see that really creates some really bright highlights on there. Everything's different, so it's not, there's no set rule for doing anything. And a lot of times I'll bring out black things. I really like a lot of contrast on my food, make it pop. So that's with the black reflector. And it just kind of it makes it a little more interesting. Now, if you want to soften the light, you can bring a scrim in. I'm still on the same spot. You see what happens? You see how that really kind of softens the light up. And there's sometimes that may be what you need to do. It just depends on your product. So, it's just like the closer the light gets to something, the softer it is. It's also the larger the light source, the softer it is. So, but the light is so important. And this, I've taught food photography at community college here. That was one of my students. And she turned it around, gave me my first drone lesson too. So I've known Linda for a long time. But you need the light to create the shape, okay? So if that light was directly behind me, those peas wouldn't have any shape. But having the light come across, you highlight the shadow, and it creates that roundness. So it's very important. The whole thing in photography is seeing the light. I've had students that just wanted to be photographers, and no matter what, they never saw the light. That's the whole thing. I mean, really studying light and how it falls on things. I'm one of those weird people who be in the restaurant watching how the light's coming through the wine onto the thing. I get mesmerized by it. Don't move that. So actually, this thing here, this is what's called a light meter. We used these back in the film days. And I had used that so long that I got it out and the batteries were all corroded. I had to clean out the back. But I was just curious what the readings were on it. And so the shadow side was F8, basically 15 seconds, and here was 2 seconds on the window side. So that's about a 3-stop fall off of light. And that's just in my kitchen. Because the rest of my house was kind of dark, so I get a pretty good fall off in there. We use frequently selective focus to emphasize the subject, and because that really brings your attention, having that one thing in focus. When I first started seeing this, I thought, oh my God, I made a mistake. Because I'm old school. I grew up taking food with a 4x5 camera, and the larger performance had less depth of field. We'd be shooting at f22 and a shine fluid in the front, trying to get everything in focus. So when I first started seeing this selective focus, I thought, oh my God, those people know what they're doing. Now I do it all the time. It really I think adds to a shot. But when you're doing it, you definitely want to use manual focus, so that you pick out what you want to focus rather than the camera. And I'll bracket my aperture too. So sometimes I'm going up, I'm going to put a 2.8, but then I'll go down 5, 6, f8 or 11, just depending on what I'm trying to do. But I like having those options when I go in. So, say in case the backside of that nectarine went too soft on me, maybe I could pick up the next one. But I like the way the back was. So, because, editing leads to so many options. It's just really kind of cool to play with. So, I'm sure you all know this, but just to review the things that affect your depth of field. One is your aperture. The larger the aperture, the less depth of field. The longer the lens, the less depth of field. Excuse me. And the closer you are to the subject, the less depth of field. So, just to show, this is these cookies. You can see the difference between 2.8 and 25. Just it's your shot. It's what you're trying to do. So it just if I'm trying to bring emphasis to the cookies in the front, that's where you want your attention to go. Then I'm going to use selective focus to bring your eye there. So here are like these raspberries. I shot this with light coming through my front door because I came in one day and I saw these little hot spots because they had that double glass. Ooh, that's kind of cool. So I went and grabbed, looked in the refrigerator to see what I had. I had some raspberries. I didn't bring the raspberries, so under the raspberries is a paper towel. But you see a 2.8, it's very, very soft, maybe one raspberry in focus. And as I go down to 5, 6, it starts coming in, and at 11, it's almost all in focus. So and most of my work seems like it's dark, and maybe it's my personality, but most of the people I shoot on, I like old dark stuff. So I realized that maybe I should have some more high-key type stuff in my portfolio. So I called my food stylist Amy up and see when she had some free time to come over and play. And Amy's great. She's like, we could get along so well. We just yell and scream at each other. And I don't scream too much at her. She's Sicilian. I'm scared of her too. So I said, let's make a caprese salad and some other things. So this is how we work. I'm on the computer looking. I'm on live view, so I can see as she moves things around. I can tell her what, from my viewpoint what I want. So she's really good at that. So we end up doing several shots, and the napkin is just in there for add some texture to it, no more edges. I have a whole bunch of different towels and stuff. Whoops, I got the 2-minute warning. I got to hurry up. So we did some salads, and so like this one, I a lot of times will like to put my background in the diagonals. I think it adds more interest to it. But the background here is basically just my 5-in-1 scrim. I knew it was going to throw it out of focus, so I wanted something back there. And like those boards are white. This is the other side of it. I just sanded it off the top to make it a little more looking. As I say, we do a variety of different shots once we're in there. I made those muffins. Yeah, pretty proud of that. I love muffins, so I make them every time. I usually take a picture of them too. So let me speed through here.
You're okay there. You don't have stuff.
Oh, so then in the supermarket, I go, I went by the frozen and I saw these Eggo waffles. And I go, oh man, I like waffles today, so I grabbed those. I said, maybe I should take a picture of them. So I all set this up, and then I got done. I go, I like the shot, but the Eggos look like Eggos. So I went to Amazon and ordered a Belgian waffle maker. And my wife, she's always looking up and says, what are you ordering a Belgian waffle maker for? And I said, she says, you never had this. I think I'm going to start. So I made these waffles. My son ate them, and I haven't made any waffles since. But I'm going to. They were good. But it's tough being married to a photographer. But as I said, I go in and do different shots with it. So I was, well, I got this set up, let me do some pancakes. That was the next focus. Anyway, so and this is another one. This is just like a shot from Venice I put in there. This is just fun. You know, the thing to me, what I like to do is these still lifes. I want to look like, I don't like to look too contrived. I'm not good with this microphone. I don't like to look too contrived. I like to look like you just walk in and it was sitting there. So I made this shot too. This I did recently. And I wanted the light to be kind of broken up where it just wasn't straight light coming through. So I said, come on. So that's how I did it. You know, you had to have a lot of MacGyvering to do this thing. But I set that up to break the light up coming through. And so you can see the angle in the camera. But you can see I'll just kind of play with the light and this one is kind of the same way. I saw these boards in the supermarket. I came home with the boards, and my wife said, what did you buy this for? And I said, oh, this is it. So I set this up like this. Again, that's just a box. And this is a box I actually got from Home Depot and stained it. They have those natural boxes. Just to break the light up, kind of make it a little more interesting with highlights and shadows. So this adds interest to the thing. Let me see what we got here. Same with these eggs. You know, chickens do a really good job making these eggs. You ever think about it? Look how uniform they are. You know, they're smooth and anyway, you can see what I did here as far as just creating some background, make it a little more interesting. You don't know what it is, but you don't really care. And the same thing here, the background is just some stuff I stuck back there just to break it up. See how little bowl has a little detergent and water and mix bubbles. You take the bubbles and put it in the coffee, mix the coffee with it, which is poured. Okay. I made these biscotti too. But I photograph everything. You know, I mix up the photographs sometimes, but I always make sure I can eat them too. Heirloom tomatoes, just again, something in the background. See how simple this stuff is? I mean, it's just like anybody can do it. You don't need that much room to do it. That's what I like. Now here's an example of change in the light. You see the light? I got the shot the way I wanted it, but the light on the bread, because you want this to be defined. And so I added that little makeup here to light it, but still it wasn't cross-light, so you get the texture. I just opened up another shutter, and then kind of adjusted the cutting board so I got the bread with the light on it the way I wanted it. So you have to kind of play with it. Now here's a quickie. Finish with spaghetti. But this background, when I was in Italy, I saw these great textures on the walls and stuff, and I photographed all of them. Then I got back, and I thought, that'd be a cool background, so I sent it over to Costco and got a 20 by 30 printed for $10. And how cheap, you know, what am I using it for? I don't care the quality. And I just put them on a foam core, and I use them for backgrounds all the time. So, and that's another thing I bought on Amazon. My wife said, "Why are you buying a pasta maker?" I said, I have this vision and shot I want to do. So, my wife's very understanding. Okay, I guess that I went over my time, so I'm interfering with lunch. I understand.
He isn't here yet, so you're
Oh, well, I can go for a lot longer. Well, as I say, I milk the shots when I get something in there. And it was my dinner one night, so I decided to take a picture of it. Any questions? Yes.
So you don't use any of the glycerin oil or any of that?
Well, on this stuff that you saw, I don't. Now, commercially, we do. When we do commercial jobs, when we cook food, we put glycerin on it, and you never want to eat anything that has glycerin on it because you'll have diarrhea for a few days. It's not good. And but most of the stuff you see it wasn't really cooked. Okay.
Okay, so you use like the glue for the milk and all that other?
Yeah, and I use wild whipped cream oil for milk, which works better than glue, because glue gets a skim on it after a while, but yeah, we do that stuff, yeah. But the problem is, there's a legal thing too, so if you're shooting a food product, it has to be what it is. But I mean, we do fake ice cream and all kinds of things. Yeah, but the stuff I do at home, I'm pretty pure because I want to eat. Any other questions? Yes?
What are your settings usually when you're doing
It just depends what I'm doing. Now, since I'm on a tripod, my ISO, I usually keep it 100. It just depends. The aperture depends on if I'm trying to do selective focus or I'm trying to bring everything in. So I'm anywhere from 2.8 to 11. Probably never more than 11. F11. Shutter speeds will be dependent on. Here's the thing. Like Russ was talking about, know your sensor. I'll be in there sometimes on a really cloudy day like this, or even worse, and I'm shooting in 5 to 6 seconds. And I look at it, it doesn't look like it's going to be anything, but then your sensor does these beautiful things for you. And it's just kind of fun. It's like doing those Milky Way shots. I love going out on a full moon and shooting things. It's just amazing what your sensor can see. You sit there, you can't see the focus, but your sensor pops it in. If everybody's never shot with a full moon, it's kind of like magic. Do you have a question? Let's go with lunch then.
So what I'm getting from Larry's presentation is that for the next time we have a focus down here, he's making breakfast.
I'll get